G'day everyone, it's Alan here from Fishing Mad, and today I'm going to show you how to catch whiting on soft plastics. Oh, here we go. I swear that was not put on, that is right on cue. I've got a... Oh, look at this one. Look at this one's taking drag on the plastic. And there you go. So there's your soft plastic, which is absolutely chewed to pieces. And there you go there, guys. So just to show you there, that was the soft plastic. That's the turtleback worm, the assist hook. Let me run you through that in a bit more detail once we come back from the intro. So currently I am standing as this is on full. So we're motoring along at about 5.5 kilometers an hour. And what this is allowing me to do now, because it's a crystal clear day, is I can just see the terrain. So what I'm looking for is your really sandy patches, your thick weed. So I don't mind just standing up here and having a bit of a look around, just seeing if we actually go over something. And it looks like great grounds so obviously you can see now you're getting these thick bits of weed, which is tremendous parts of fishing. So I'm just going to sit down now. So we've come out to a spot that historically I've done quite well here for squid and whiting. So we're fishing right now in exactly 3.2 meters deep. We've come out probably about 500 meters from the boat ramp. We've found some ground that is just full of sandy patches and thick weed. So what I've done is I've just anchored up in that sandy patch and basically casting into the weedy areas. Now the funny thing was, I had fished this same spot before and I've been on the water for about 4 hours, and in that 4 hours using bait I only got 8 whiting. I have been here now probably for about 15 minutes, flicked across to these soft plastics using the assist hooks that I've been talking about already, and I've got 8 keepers in less than 15 minutes. So this strategy can work really, really well. It's not going to work like that every time. You know, you're going to have days you come out and you're not getting a touch at all, but it is a very effective method. I still think that probably 90+% of people, when they're out targeting whiting, are doing it using bait, using things like your pippies, your mussels, your squid strips. That is still the traditional and the most preferred. Look at that, here we go. Here's another one here on the plastic. Now you saw me cast that, and what's great is they hit the soft plastic so hard and they take a bit of drag. So you'll see, you saw me rig that up. Can you hear that drag? How cool is that? And whoa, this is a good one. Look at this. And this is proof in the pudding. This is exactly what I want to show you right now. So there you go. So there is your soft plastic. Okay. And if you'll notice, the way the whiting is hooked is using that bottom stinger hook. It just works an absolute treat. That little hook just pins into the side of the mouth. But that is a beautiful, beautiful fish. King George whiting. And a very, very effective technique. Now obviously these turtleback worms get chewed up like no tomorrow. So what you're going to find is, if you do want to fish in this technique, if you do want to use those same soft plastics, then bring 3 or 4 packets, because you will go through them quickly. So you can see that one there had a bite. That's not too bad. I'll be able to sort of remake that one work. The big key with these assist hooks is they really do increase your catch rates. Okay, so a lot of times what's going to happen is a whiting will come along, it'll see the soft plastic, it will have a go at it, but it won't engulf the soft plastic enough to set the hook that's attached to the jig head. And that's because, you know, they may have only taken half the plastic in their mouth. So what this does now is this really puts the favor in your hands. It puts that bottom assist hook 3/4 of the way down the soft plastic, and what happens is your catch rates and your hookup rates go up immensely. So I've been doing this now for several years. I've been tinkering and tweaking with the, and then, oh look at that, we're getting a hit straight away. This is ridiculous. It's a Fisher cast at the moment. So a 1/12 TT headlocks jig head, a size 1/0, and then what we do is we run 80 mils of that trace. And as I said, that can be braid, it can be fluorocarbon leader, and then a size 6 Chinook hook, which is like a small fine worm hook. And I just missed one there, so I'll just make sure that plastic is still on, which it is. That assist hook is still attached, so we're going to cast one out there again. The boys are casting right to where I am now because they can see all the action, and it's really fun. So, you know, to me, the most fun part of fishing is when fish grab the soft plastic or the lure and run. It's that strike, and you've got the rod in your hand and you feel it. And, you know, whiting are really, really aggressive strikers. And there's a big difference between having the rod in your hand as they take a soft plastic, opposed to when you're bait fishing and your rods are sitting in the rod holders. This is such a fun form of fishing. You don't sit there going through bags of pippies and mussels and squid. You don't get the really stinky fingers, other than when you hold the whiting, because obviously they're quite a slippery and slimy fish. But this technique is absolutely killer. I really recommend that you give it a go. I'm going to do some close-up videos of how everything is rigged up and pinned and everything. But if you haven't done this style of fishing before, give it a go, because it is a lot of fun. I'm about to get another hit here. And it's very, very successful technique. And you see how slow I'm working these soft plastics? I'm really giving the whiting a chance to, here we go, he's going to take it. Got him. Whoa, 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 look at this on the plastic. Yep. Yeah, big whiting. Yep, there we go, look at that. Whoops, don't come out. Yeah, there you go. So there is a whiting on soft plastic. So the old elbow slapper is... So this is something I've been playing around with for quite a while now. So this is catching whiting on soft plastics. And my go-to has been one of these 4-inch turtleback worms. And the big key has been using just one of these little stinger hooks. And what you're going to find is a lot of your hookups are going to be with this stinger hook, because that hook is a lot further down the tail. And because whiting have quite small mouths, they will just engulf the bottom of the tail. And a lot of times they don't actually take the actual hook on the jig head. And by having these little assist hooks, you find that your catch rates do increase significantly. So all I like to do is just pin this bottom hook much lower into the tail. It's a little bit fiddly to do. You really want to try and get it right. Sorry? Yeah, that's why I run that little stinger hook. So you've either got to run a real small soft plastic, or run this stinger hook, so that way they actually engulf their bottom little hook. So there we go, got another one on the plastic. Yep.
What's that about next month?
Oh, I see. Let's get another one. We're going to run some catch of the month competitions.
Oh, yeah.
Got another one, here we go.
I don't want
Oh, it's a good one too.
I want one of those hooks.
There we go, guys. So that is 4 whiting and 5 casts on the soft plastics. I need to open another packet. I should have just done soft plastics to start with. Oh, look at this, another one. Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one on the plastic, guys. This is a big, big whiting on the soft plastic. Oh, this thing's huge. This is a big one.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Look at this one.
Wow.
5 whiting
Wow.
and 6 casts on soft plastics, and they're getting bigger and bigger. There you go, there's your soft plastic, which is absolutely chewed to pieces. And there is another King George whiting. So that is 5 King George whiting in 6 casts on soft plastics. So if anyone tells you that you can't catch whiting on soft plastics, tell them they need to come and have a watch of this video, because it is a very, Very effective method once you rig up correctly, and I'm going to walk you through how to do all of that pretty shortly. So a number of soft plastics that you can use. I've had a lot of success using these Berkley Gold 4-inch turtleback worms. So in that camo color, whiting respond really well to them. Anything also like yabby imitations and things like that also work tremendously well. For me though, what has been the absolute key is what you'll find is a lot of whiting will take soft plastics, they'll take them on the drop, but what you'll find is they don't engulf it enough to actually set this hook as part of the jig head. So what I have been doing is I run 80 mils of trace, so that can be either braid or fluorocarbon leader, and then I run a very small size 6 worm hook there. So basically that is the presentation there, and then you have your turtleback worm which is rigged on there, and you've got 2 points. So this is your normal point. What you're going to find is 90% of your hookups are going to be on this little hook here, and you really just need to thread it on very carefully and have it so that bottom hook is really carefully exposed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a packet now. I'm going to show you how this works. There's your turtleback worm. Just going to rig the top hook like we normally would. So thread that through, push it up nice and carefully. Okay, you get to about that point and then just straighten on, push that up. So you can see there, that is perfect. What you want to do is you want to pin this second hook about 3/4 of the way down the tail. It's quite tricky to do, and you want to do it so it's not going to come loose, but you've got maximum hook exposure, and you might have to fiddle with this a couple of times to get it right. It should look something like that. Okay, now you think, will that impede the swimming action? It actually does a little bit, but you know what, the whiting really don't care. So I'm here with a couple of guys now. I've just caught 5 whiting on this exact presentation in 6 casts, and just to show you, let's cast one out now. We're rolling live with this camera as we speak, so I won't pause that. Let's just cast one out. And been working this like you would any other normal soft plastic, other than probably working it a tad slower. I find the whiting a lot of times will take it even when it's just sitting on the bottom. So we will let that sit there. Already getting a nibble already. Here we go. Oh, that was a big nibble. So we're not going to take it away. We're just going to leave it there. A couple of little lifts and hops, and then let it sink back down like you do with any other normal soft plastic. They're still interested in it. Now the trick is with this little stinger hook is when you actually set the hook, you want to keep pressure on all times. So don't drop the rod tip. You want to just keep rolling in, and you'll find that that is really important, because you will drop fish if you don't do that. Now whiting do have very small mouths, so traditionally when you're fishing with soft plastics, you really want a stiff rod with a really stiff rod tip, so that way you can feel all the nibbles. And that is really important, but I would say in this instance, it wouldn't be so bad if you had a slower action rod with a little bit of give in it, and that's because you don't want to strike hard and rip that little assist hook out of the whiting's mouth. So that's the only risk that you've got with this style of fishing. But again, your traditional soft plastic gear, you work it like you would any other soft plastic, maybe a tad slower, and hold on, because whiting do hit soft plastics really hard. And it's a lot of fun when they do, I can assure you now. Here we go, got one. See how slow I was working that? And this is a good whiting, look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And look at that, the hook up is on that bottom assist hook, okay? So it's, there we go. So there's a little assist hook there, so it absolutely works. So hang around for a second, let's just cast another one, because I think this will be 10 in about 20 minutes if I can land one whilst I'm chatting to you. So let's flick that over. So the gear I'm using today, so this is just a T-Curve Premium. This is a 2 to 5 kilo rod, just a standard soft plastic rod. You don't need anything fancy. This is quite an extravagant setup. I've got a Shimano Sustain 2500 FJ. Again, any 2500 size reel is going to work perfectly fine. I'm just fishing with 10-pound braid. I've got a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, length of exactly 1 meter, and then obviously we've got that jig head attached to it with the stinger hook. Here's another one here on the plastic. Now you saw me cast that, and what's great is they hit the soft plastic so hard. This is a good one. Look at this. So one question that you might have is, do the whiting swallow those hooks, you know, and make them bleed in the throat area and that? And the honest answer is they actually don't. So most of the hookups you'll find will just be pierced in the side of the lip. Now, that can't be said for any bycatch. So if you do catch a pinky or a flathead or something of that nature, it is very likely that they will engulf the jig head and obviously the assist hook, which is sitting a fair way down. And that can be a little bit of work to try and get that assist hook out. Not always the greatest for the fish, but for the whiting, you're going to find that 99% of the ones that you bring in, it's just a case of that bottom stinger hook has got them on the side of the jaw. Going to get another one here, and you basically just unpin it like I've shown you several times here, and happy days, you just pull it out. But that's just one of the things you need to be cautious of if you're fishing in an area where you know you're going to catch a lot of pinkies and a lot of flathead and anything of that nature. So this is, so when I'm talking about bycatch, this is one of your absolute problems when you're doing this technique. These things like to eat everything, and it's not much fun because they've got mighty sharp teeth. Because I want to see every fish go back and swim, whether it's a banjo or a Port Jackson shark or a damn toady. I'm not fans of them, but I always do my best to get them back in the water because they are an important part of our ecosystem. And there you go. And we're going to get another one on. So, okay, so for those who haven't seen these, so there you go, Berkley Gulp 4-inch camo turtleback worm. Okay, very effective. You can use the other different colors as well. They've got a color pumpkin seed, they've got nuclear chicken, they've got, you know, quite a few colors there, so you can chop and change and use them. They all do work. I've always just had a preference to these because they've got more of like a natural worm presentation, and I think whiting, you know, that's part of their food source, so why not match the hatch, so to speak. So we put that on there. We're going to carefully rig up this stinger hook, and I can't stress enough, getting the stinger hook in correctly is really important, and I don't get it right every time, I can assure you now, and I just like to take my time and just have it so it just sits like that, which is really good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cast this one out, see if we can get 10 on the board. The other good thing about this method is usually your traditional bait fishing for whiting is you pick a spot, you anchor, you throw out burley, you set up a spread of rods, you know, and then you wait for the whiting to come on. You don't need to do any of that in this method. In this method, you don't even need to anchor up. You can just drift around, cast to the left, cast to the right, cast to the left, cast to the right, and what you're going to find is, here we go, got another one on, guys. You can just cover ground and oh, it's a good one too. Okay, so these are the jig heads that I've had made up, guys. So these are a TT headlocks in a 1/12, a size 1/0. And then what we've got is we've got 80 millimeters of trace, which can be braid or fluorocarbon leader, and that's to a size 6 tunic hook. So you can see there, guys, at Southern Edge Lures have been making these up for me because it has been a really successful technique. So I've got one rod length of 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. So we're just going to attach that, just using a uni knot. By default, I always do about 7 wraps, but you don't have to do as many. You could do 4 or 5 wraps quite comfortably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, trim that off. Okay, grab one of your turtleback worms. Now, I guess it's really satisfying catching whiting on soft plastics. I mean, for me, they are my favourite thing to eat in all of Port Phillip Bay. I prefer them probably just over squid and snapper and flathead and whatever else there, but they're definitely my favourite thing to eat in Port Phillip Bay. And I get a real sense of pride when I can come out here and use a technique that isn't common, isn't used by everyone, and you come out here and you can catch your really good share of number of whiting using this different technique. And you know, that's something that makes me really excited to come out, get a good feed. So you can see I'm really taking my time. Okay, I want to make sure that it is rigged really nicely. So look at that, that's really nice presentation. Okay, and when the whiting are on, and you can see I've just been anchored up here. I've been anchored up in this spot now probably for about 20-25 minutes, and we've got 9 whiting on soft plastics in that time, and the sizes ranging anywhere probably from about 34 to about 42 centimeters. So some decent size ones, decent size for Port Phillip Bay anyway. One of the boys next to me has just caught a 46, so which is a very impressive one on a soft plastic. And as you can see, I'm not doing anything really fancy. I'm just taking my time, working it really slowly, and then you'll feel that you strike. Once you strike, you really need to make sure that you maintain that pressure. If you lower the rod tip, there's a good chance that assist hook will come. Here we go. Go on. Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one on the plastic, guys. This is a big one. Look at this one. Well, that's a wrap, everyone, and I hope that you found this video on how to catch whiting with soft plastics helpful and informative. And as I said, this is a technique that I've been using now for many years. It's taken a lot of tweaks, a number of subtle changes just to get to the point where your hookup and your catch rates are really good enough that you can go out there and catch yourself a bag of whiting. Just ran you through the tips and the techniques of how I set up using that TT headlocks jig head with the 80mm stinger hook, and we caught 10 whiting in 20 minutes. So a really effective method just to show you that the technique does work. A lot of people still will fish for whiting in the traditional way with your baits, using your pippies and your mussels and your squid, but don't be afraid to challenge that. Don't be afraid to go out there with ultralight spin gear, a setup like this, and get yourself a really good bag of King George whiting using soft plastics, because it's a really fun technique. They hit those soft plastics really hard, and let's face it, King George whiting is an absolutely fantastic feed in our waters here in Port Phillip Bay, even Western Port. Anyway, I thank you for watching. Hope that you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to go and check out our members area, which is www.fishingmad.com.au/member. Lots of effort goes into there, and by following that, you're doing a lot to really support everything that we do here on Fishing Mad. So take care, everyone. And there is your end result there. That is what you call a bag of whiting, all on soft plastics. So that is going to be great eating during the week, and certainly no complaints at this household.